Okay, so before I get into the comic book that I would like to talk about, I want to offer an explanation, or not an explanation, a comment to a person who commented on my Incredible Hulk #3 video review. I guess this person felt like I should not have reviewed the comic. I shouldn't like anything from Marvel and or DC. I shouldn't give them my money. I should only focus on independent comics. And this person felt like because I bought this book or because I enjoyed this book, that somehow this is a slight to someone like an Eric July and what he has going on. I can both like independent comic books and I can also enjoy some of what Marvel and DC has put out. I've been reviewing the Wildcats reboot from DC and I have enjoyed it. I believe it's good. Look, we don't have to like the same things. This is what I have a feeling is happening amongst, let's say, the conservative space in entertainment, namely comic books. We're doing exactly what we blame those on the left of doing. If a person is not ideologically loyal to what you believe they should be loyal to, then there's a problem. I still enjoy books that Marvel and DC put out. Yes, there's a lot that they put out that is not good. But every now and again, there's something they put out, and I'm like, okay, I enjoy this. I like this right here. I think I'm allowed to do that. If we get to the point where you feel like because you don't like a company that someone else has to dislike that company and you feel like it's a slight to you, that's a problem because that almost generates a sort of purity test. Like, oh, if you like this company or if you like this book, I just can't rock with you anymore. I don't know. For those who are new to my page, I focus on or try to focus on positive things. Now, this doesn't mean I never criticize comic books. If you watch my review of X-Men Days of Future Past #1, the reboot, it was not good. That book was not good. It was not good at all. And I made it known. This was just not a good book. The art, in my humble opinion, was terrible. But there's some books that Marvel puts out that's good. Anyway, I don't want to focus on that too much. I just felt the need to mention that because the person in my comments seemed pretty upset. Look, I really didn't want to argue with you, but I did want you to understand that, hey, look, I can like something that you dislike. You can dislike something that I like and vice versa. That's okay. We don't have to see eye to eye on every single issue. And yes, I do understand a lot of the stuff that Marvel and DC put out is really not good. That is not a surprise. But on my channel, I don't do the rage content. Not that I don't, like I said, go over things that I dislike. I think we're running into a problem where there's so many channels that rage against things they don't like. And I get it. I get it. These companies have slighted us, the geeks who have enjoyed these things. But that's just not what I want to do on my channel. I don't want to rage, on content that I don't like. If I don't like it, I'll just say, look, I don't like it. And here's the reasons. It shoved some political idea. It shoved some social idea, or the story just wasn't good, or the art just wasn't good. I have no problem saying that, but I'm not going to rage against these things. I think there's enough of those channels on YouTube, and there's plenty places to go if that's what you want to see. I hope you enjoy the content, but that's not what I do. So anyway, I read this book right here, Cat and Mouse #1. And I want to give a shout out to the creator of this comic book. I have his card right here. I'm going to send him an email because I want to interview him on my podcast, Roland Mann. He actually followed me on YouTube. I appreciate that. That book right there, and he said this when I was at that comic convention. He told me I was going to want to come back. I am purposely keeping myself from reading 2 and 3. I just read Cat and Mouse 1. Man, was it good. I was really astonished at how stable the art was throughout the entire book. And this is an area where the major content houses, in my humble opinion, are taking some of their biggest losses. We know, I think their biggest losses are in stories. The stories are just not compelling. But the art, one of their biggest losses because it's not compelling, is like when I opened up Cat and Mouse #1, immediately I was like, this art is professional. And some of the books I've seen from the Marvels, the DCs, Dark Horse, even Dark Horse, I look at the art and I think to myself, this doesn't look like an industry professional. Now, I'm not saying you have to have been an artist for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years to draw a good book. But at a bare minimum, whoever's looking at this art, whoever's putting these books out before it goes to print, they have to look at this and go, yo, it's not terrible art, but it's subpar to what we want to show to our fans. But when I read Cat and Mouse #1, oh man, the art grabbed me. And I expected it to be good, especially after my conversation with Mr. Roland Mann, but I didn't expect it to be this good. I was very impressed. Let me see, because I was gonna take some notes, but I kind of like doing these videos off the cuff. I don't like being too prepared. If you want my prepared videos, I do comic book origin story videos. Those are more prepared, but for these videos where I'm doing reviews, I just like to do off the cuff. So the script, of course, was written by Roland Mann. Great script. The pencils were done by Dean Zachary. Mr. Zachary, I don't know you, but I am here to tell you, your art was a refreshing sight for my eyes, because it was so consistently good. All your lines were symmetrically accurate. I don't even know if that's the right term, but like everything flowed well with this art. I felt like this was a book that has been around for years. And I felt like these were characters that were 20, 30 years established. And the art really does have the ability and the capability to do that. So I just want to give you your flowers. This art was magnificent. I really hope Silverline Comics takes off. I really do, because Silverline Comics, to me, feels like what both Marvel and DC used to be. As far as I can tell, this is just book #1. Nobody had superpowers. It's a bunch of martial arts, which I loved. The story was great. It was a serious yet funny story. Guy breaks up with a girl. The girl calls him the next day. Her sister's lost or ran away. She's in New Orleans. He goes to New Orleans, finds her, brings her back, only for her to run away again and the ex-girlfriend to call him again. And now he goes back to find the sister, and things get a little more hairy. And I thought to myself, now I'm glossing over a lot of in-betweens in the story because I really want you to go buy this book. I really think this book is good. I think this book has legs, and I think you can tell this book was created with care, and this book was created with the fans in mind. And it's rare nowadays, especially in the mainstream comic books, to sit down and read a book and think to yourself, yo, did they put this part in a book so that I would see it and I would enjoy it? That's what I felt like as I was reading through Cat and Mouse #1. I didn't know if I was gonna enjoy it. But based on the recommendation of Mr. Roland, man, now, of course, it's his comic book. So, of course, he's gonna say it's good. But it was good. Before I finish, the inks were done by Barb Kellberg, and the colors were done by Kevin Gallagly. Forgive me if I slaughtered your name. And the logo was designed by the penciler, Dean Zachary. Mr. Zachary, thank you for this art. Mr. Mann, thank you for this story. It was one of those things where you're reading the book and in your mind, you're like, man, what happened to comic books? And not because the book wasn't good. It's because the book is so good. It's good in simple ways that makes you think, man, what happened to comic books? Did people lose that love? And sometimes I think that's what happens. Money gets involved and people are no longer making these comic books because they love doing it. They're making it because it's a business. And I get it. I understand, we got to make money and pay bills. But this right here was an effort by people who loved comic books. And I think you will thoroughly enjoy this comic book if you pick it up.